It's in the game.
I check the doors, check the windows, and pull the blinds. I check the clock, wondering what he'll pull this time. I have a feeling that necromancer's outside, and I'm just trying to stay quiet. I don't state max, that's crazy. How'd you know that? Keep myself up, that's maybe how you know that. Ooh, promises and contracts. I used to keep. I don't state max, that's crazy. How'd you know that? Keep myself up, that's maybe how you know that. Ooh, my hallucination. I used to see. Wake up and I found out, did it change up? Wait, did it change up? Is it light out yet? Did it find out where? Better walk around the edge of the room in the bed where I'm on face. Face around, better try to breathe. Face around, face around. I check the doors, check the windows and
It's the NFL on EA Sports as you take a look there at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, PA. Today we've got an intriguing NFC matchup lined up here, as it'll be the Green Bay Packers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. About ready to get us started. And off we go from Lincoln Financial Field. That's going to be taken at the goal line, and he'll return it. And he's up across the 25 and down at the 28.
At their own 28-yard line.
Great, set. On anyone, no touch.
Here's a fake on the jet sweep as they'll go instead with Barkley. And he'll take this up near the 35, maybe the 34. The game's first play produces 6 yards, brings up second down.
34-yard line.
No touch.
Hurts sets up to throw it. And that is going to be incomplete as he let him a bit too much.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the #1 thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
Oh, and Hurts is going to be hit and taken down to the ground. Rashawn Gary that time fighting free and getting to the quarterback. So still a scoreless game in the first, but they're going to go for this thing on their own side of the field on 4th down. They'll try and throw for it here. This time for Smith, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Xavier McKinney. And his guys are going to take over at the 34-yard line. That's kind of a double whammy. I mean, the interception on the opening drive, that's one thing, but to give him this field position, that's another.
Absolutely perfect start for this defense. They take the ball away on the opening possession. They know that their offense will get the ball to start the second half. They line them up in field goal position, and to me, they got a chance for a touchdown right here out of the gate.
Ready?
Our first carry for the all-pro running back, it's Josh Jacobs. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it.
They suspected it was a power play up the middle coming at them, and boy, were they right. That defense got downhill in a hurry and limited them to just a couple on first down.
Now 2nd and 8 at the 32-yard line.
Ready.
Now some movement before the snap. And we'll hear from our referee for the first time this afternoon.
Okay,
and
ready?
that false start penalty certainly not helping their cause here. 2nd down and long. To pass, here's Jordan Love. Who finds his receiver, Watson. Touchdown, Packers! Christian Watson, 36 yards. And the Packers use the early turnover to get on the board first here in this one. McManus's point after is good. And that makes the score 7-0.
Eagles nothing.
After the touchdown, here's McManus now to kick it away. This fielded right at the goal line. And he returns this to the 22.
Take over 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line.
The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. Now remember, the last time out, they threw the interception. That led to the touchdown, so now time to regroup.
It certainly is, and their goal right now as they go back out on the field, a calming drive, something that takes the ball, keeps it for a while, lets the defense relax a little bit, lets the offense regain confidence in their game plan.
So now 20 yards to go on 2nd down after the sack. Work to be done. Here's Hurts to throw. And that'll be incomplete.
And this drive is almost over before it began thanks to a great defensive effort. Sack on 1st down, followed by an incompletion. One more good rep, and they get off the field.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. He's going deep for Brown. Oh, and his early struggles continue. Here's another one intercepted. And the Packers will have solid field position here as they take over at their 45-yard line. About set to get this drive started, the Green Bay offense at the line. They'll start following the interception in great field position at the 45. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. The loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. Now Love. Throwing left side, and Watson has it.
They sure put the coverage guys in a stress on that one. They thought they were going deep. Ends up curling inside for a nice chunk of yardage.
Here we go.
Trying to run for it with Jacobs. And he will have 1st down yardage as he's brought down at the 41. They're able to convert with a gain of 4.
Packers 1st down. A 4-yard pickup on the play.
Off the play fake, Love. And that will be incomplete. They couldn't hook up on what's going to be the final play of this 1st quarter. After 7-0 on EA Sports.
Ready.
2nd and 10.
Set, go. 33, yellow. Ready.
Love. Now a quick throw there, but it's going to be incomplete.
Let's phrase this delicately, okay? Might have had a better option instead of throwing the football into double coverage.
He was blanketed. I was surprised that he went his direction.
Yeah, should have thought maybe about the check down, take the completion, keep moving.
Love from the gun on 3rd down. He's got his target. That's complete. And he has another 1st down as they'll get the ball down to the Eagles' 27-yard line. His first catch, and it's a pretty big one. They get the conversion on 3rd down.
A gain of 15.
Let's go now.
1st down, Packers.
Play fake. Here's Love. And he's going to be taken down back around the 35-yard line. Buried for the sack by big Jalen Carter.
Loss of 8 yards.
Okay, ready?
So second and long, and got to be careful not to fall out of field goal range.
Here we go, set. Yellow, 43. Ready?
Throwing. Love. Now this aired out deep for Reed. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete.
I know conventional wisdom says, hey, don't get it all back in one play. But sometimes you go ahead and try to. They tried to get it all back on that one. Weren't able to do so.
Now they set up the screen. That's complete. Oh, what a juke into space. And he's down inside the 5 at the 4 before he's out of bounds. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a first and goal.
Ready.
Now Love will try with his legs. And maybe the wrong read there as he's going to go down immediately. That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be second down.
At the 8-yard line.
2 minutes on the clock, second quarter, 7-0 ball game.
Ready.
Nothing on first down, so the ball remains at the 8-yard line, second and goal.
Set. 10 black. Ready.
Love now. On the RPO, he'll keep it himself.
They certainly did a nice job improvising there, extending the play, hoping someone would come open downfield, but they never did.
Ready, ready. 45. White. Hut.
Love, this is third and goal. And he's going to be dropped. Back at the 15-yard line. The offense stays out there. A big challenge here from this far back, but they're going for it on fourth and goal. And he's brought down. Can't do anything with the football. It's a sack and a turnover on downs. He couldn't get the ball away on fourth and goal. And this long drive is going to wind up yielding nothing. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. They'll start out on the ground. It's Saquon Barkley. And he can only manage to get a couple. Second and 8 coming up.
I don't think any of us were surprised that they decided to start this drive on the ground after the last 2 drives ended in interceptions.
Unfortunately, though, not a lot going on that first play.
Yeah, I think the anticipation was felt also by the defense.
The Eagles going to take the first of their timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming second down play. Hurts. Going to be caught downfield by Dotson. And he'll take this to the other side of midfield before going out of bounds. A first down there on a pickup of 25.
First and 10 at the 48-yard line.
Go Silver, ready?
Throwing is Hurts. And that'll be knocked away. It's incomplete.
As a corner, you have to be able to run with guys step for step downfield in man coverage and make up ground quickly in zone. You have to put yourself in position to make plays, just like that one we saw there.
Here's second and 10. Throwing from the gun, it's Hurts. Target is to Dotson, and he's got him. And he's corralled at the 40, but not before picking up 8. So third and 2, this quite possibly 4-down territory, though, if they're stopped. From the gun, it's Hurts. Able to find the open man. That's complete. Now the Eagles will use the second of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. Got to say, I was a little surprised to see him, Charles, come out in the shotgun on third and less than a yard.
Yeah, but the way the NFL is nowadays, we hardly ever see anyone really run for it on short yardage, so they're going to throw the football more times than not. has a nice, easy rhythm throw right there, and they pick up the first down.
And he is going to lose yardage here. 38-yard line, 2nd and 11.
Brings up 2nd and 11 at the Packers' 38-yard line.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. Over the middle, and it's incomplete.
But there's an incompletion, partner, and the struggles through the air continue because so far their lack of passing production has led to a lack of points.
A long way to go here on 3rd down for the 8th play of the drive. Again, he'll drop to throw. That one downfield for Dotson. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
Zone coverage there, and they were playing deep. That makes it obviously a little bit harder to run by guys. And that time, there was not much of a window to get the ball in there, and it winds up incomplete.
And he has got it from 55 yards away. That was never in doubt. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. So that kick gives them their first points of the game, CD, and it comes on the 3rd drive, but hopefully for them that's a spark that gets that offense going.
Yeah, and I would say if you're the offensive play caller, as you look at your sheet, you're trying to find that part on there that unlocks bigger points. They've struggled with a few drives so far, finally got 3 out of it. How do you find the end zone? That's what he's searching for now.
At their own 19-yard line.
The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway.
Come on.
And with a 7-3 lead, we'll see how aggressive they want to be. Oh, the pressure gets to Love, and he'll go down. The Eagles will take their 3rd and final timeout as they'll stop the clock with 24 seconds to go in this first half. Sacks, a growing theme in this first half. This is 2nd and long.
Set, hut. 60 red. 60 red. Hut, hut.
To throw now. Here's Love. Rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. And his guys have got it back at the closing stages of the first half.
The 2nd down pass intercepted. The Eagles take over 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10.
63, 63.
They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. I'm not sure he saw the linebacker there as that's batted down and incomplete. Now a 2nd and 10.
Great. Set.
They'll set up to throw. And Hurts is intercepted, his 3rd of the game. Picked off by Nate Hobbs. And the Packers are going to take over here up near the 40. So consecutive interceptions here early on in this one, and maybe setting the tone, Charles, for a game where the defense really takes center stage.
And don't you think that both offenses are really catching a bit from their coaching staff about avoiding these turnovers that we've seen early? I think both teams are trying to find an advantage. We know that. Can one of them break away and take control of this game?
Ready?
Final play of the half, Love. He's going to launch this deep for Watson. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. So we've hit intermission. It's halftime. This is the NFL, and it's a presentation of EA Sports. So it's the Packers set to receive the kick. They've got the lead as well as we are underway in the 3rd quarter. And they will not get a chance to return this one. It's through the back of the end zone for a touchback. About set to get this drive started. The Green Bay offense at the line.
Here we go.
And they've got the lead. CD, what do you think the message was at halftime?
I don't think the message was too drastic, I think, at the half, or that they need to change things too much. I do think the offensive line can play a little bit better, and I think they'll try and help them out more. They'll probably keep a tight end in a few more times and maybe add a running back to the formation to pick up those pass rushers, because they probably allowed a few too many sacks for comfort in the first half.
So from 135 all the way over to the other. Here's 1st and 10. They'll run right here with Jacobs. And some room to run now. Touchdown, Packers. Josh Jacobs, 35 yards. And the Packers come right out of the locker room and score here in the opening minute of the third quarter. Extra point from McManus is good. And that pushes the lead up to 11. After the touchdown, here's McManus now to kick it away. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line.
The Eagles take over 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line.
The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And their deficit a little wider than it was at halftime. Does that touchdown a minute ago change the thinking here at all?
I think it does, at least a little bit, because now urgency has to start setting in. You can't go out there and go 3 and out and run the risk of falling behind substantially, but you have to do it without pressing, because pressing, that'll lead you into bigger errors.
This is 2nd and 8. Again, it's Barkley. And shutting him off, now open field. He's still on his feet. Whoa, it still won't go down. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Saquon Barkley, 75 yards. And the Eagles are back within a score. They've done a good job of holding him down in the first half, but he explodes for a big one right there.
Yeah, I've got an image in my head of him being surrounded by a bunch of people, really, with ropes and other things trying to keep him locked in. But eventually they got tired too, and just as you noted, he broke out.
And it's a guy that usually you can only keep down for so long. Elliott good on the extra point, and that makes it a 14-10 ball game.
Jake Elliott to kick off.
Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. And with a well-placed kickoff, that's what these new rules can do for you, as he'll be backed up to start this drive.
Well, not exactly a banner return, so he doesn't give his offense a whole lot of room to work with. They've got to go a long way now to try and score some points. I do know this from experience. There will be a few comments muttered his way by the offense as they head out on the field.
Ready. Black 40.
They'll begin on the ground with Jacobs. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it.
On the track.
2nd and 7.
Pick up with 3. Brings up 2nd and 7.
Here we go. Here we go. Ready.
Here's Love. This is caught. It's Christian Watson. Down the left sideline. Christian Watson. Touchdown, Packers. Christian Watson. His 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the Packers are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. So from back deep in their own territory, all the way into the end zone, you think they expected to score on that one?
I'm not sure they expected to score, but they also showed that they're not averse to taking a little bit of a risk there, right? Taking a chance, because the normal call is take care of the football, run it, be safe. Instead, they put it in the air and took a gamble, and it paid off in a big way. That wasn't an analytics call. That wasn't a fantasy guy's call. That was like a video game call right there.
It was a little bit of a video game call, but it worked. And that's pretty good coverage by the kick team, as he'll only be able to get this past the 15-yard line and no further. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go. And really, Charles, not much of a surprise that they're losing. They just haven't been able to get much of anything going in the pass game. And as you well know, in today's NFL, if the passing game isn't working, usually not much else is working either.
You're exactly right about that, partner. And I know that right now the easy answer would be, hey, let's run the football. But that might not be everything you need. So despite the fact that they've struggled throwing it, they've got to find some type of a play, multiple plays, that puts the ball in the air and allows for them to have some success.
And they'll bring him down at the 27-yard line.
A 7-yard gain. And an Eagles.
Hurts sets up to throw it. It's Barkley once again bringing in the catch. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. Under a minute to go in this third quarter as they come up 1st and 10. Up the middle with Barkley. And a pretty good burst there as they get this across midfield and down to the 46. 103 yards for him on the ground now as he has been terrific here this afternoon.
Man, these guys may not win this ball game, but you certainly can't fault the effort of this man here today. He's been a real thorn in their sides all afternoon. And that last carry puts him over the 100-yard mark.
So into Packer territory now. Here's 1st and 10 at the 46. They'll go to Barkley again. And they're able to work this to the 25 before it's all said and done. That's good for 21 yards and a 1st down.
Good, strong, explosive run that started inside, which means you've got to control those defensive linemen, the defensive tackles, the nose guards. Those guys have to be controlled. How about the offensive line, the job they just did?
Yeah, key that A-gap usually on those runs, right? And he'll take it into the end zone for an Eagles touchdown. Saquon Barkley with now his 2nd touchdown of this third quarter. And the Eagles are able to get a score back in the final stages of this third quarter. Well, this offense only mustered 3 points in the first half on that field goal. They picked up the pace now, 2 third-quarter touchdowns.
Hey, you remember that appearance we had last week in front of that crowd, and they asked about halftime adjustments and all that was going on. And remember what I said, it's not always an adjustment at halftime. Sometimes just remembering the game plan and playing better, tuning it up and just working through it methodically, they got it done in this case.
Of course, I'll always remember that appearance because I had on a brown belt with black shoes, and you pointed that out in front of the crowd. So thanks for that.
I said that out loud?
You did.
Yeah, my bad.
After the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. And he will be taken down here on the return on what will wind up being the final play of this third quarter. So both offenses come to life here in this third quarter as this is shaping up for a good finish. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. The Packer offense ready to get their next drive underway. Their lead back down to 1 score after the touchdown a moment ago. First down's a must on this drive as they start out here 1st and 10. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11. And when do they start thinking about burning these timeouts? They've got all 3 still defensively.
To me, you have to start right now. Here's the time, and that means you've got to stop them on defense, not give up the yardage, use your timeouts in order to get the ball back and try and score yourself. But
now look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Inside the 20. A critical error there in a tight game of the fourth.
All you talk about is taking care of the football, and especially with a lead here in the fourth quarter, turning it over, now the door is open for the opposition.
Just in general, when you're passing in the fourth quarter with a lead, no matter at what point, you got to be super careful.
Got to be careful, and sometimes you can be so careful that you end up running yourself into an error.
They'll try and run forward with Barkley. And for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. No gain on the play that time, and it sets up second and goal.
At the Packers' 6-yard line.
Great, set. Delta.
They'll look to throw here. This one goes out wide for Barkley. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Saquon Barkley from 6 yards away. And the Eagles have taken a fourth-quarter lead. Elliott on for the extra point. And that will make this a 4-point game.
Makes the score Eagles 25, Packers 21.
Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. And able to take it past the 25 and up to the 28-yard line. About set to get this drive started. The Green Bay offense at the line. We certainly have a good one on our hands. They're trailing after that last touchdown, but now a chance for this offense to try to snag that. And the comeback may stall out. It's intercepted. And they are going to set up shop at the 32-yard line.
Intercepted. The Eagles take over 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line.
They couldn't ask for much more to this point in the second half. A gorgeous day, one-score game. 1st and 10 here. It's Barkley on the counter. And I think this defense knew what was coming as he is smothered behind the line. The Packers going to use one of their timeouts. It's just their first. They'll be down to 2 remaining as we step aside here in the fourth quarter. Second down, here's Barkley again. And he'll get a little over 2, maybe a full 3 down to the 32-yard line. And now the Packers going to take another timeout. That's going to leave them with just 1 remaining here in this fourth quarter. Here's Hurts to throw. To Barkley on the check down. And out of bounds all the way down at the 3.
And remember, this drive started off following the turnover, and they've taken no time working their way down the short field. A nice connection there, and now they're looking at a 1st and goal.
So 1st and goal, 6 points here would go a long way toward wrapping this one up. Barkley. Going to be hit and met at the line of scrimmage. They get him down at the 3.
This is where coaches have to have spent a lot of time going over situations with their players, because him getting tackled there is not the worst thing in the world. You're going to run more plays, right? Clock's going to go. But his thought process is getting into the end zone. It's counterintuitive for him to actually go down in this spot.
Yeah, but like you say, you don't want to get in the end zone too early here.
No, not at all, because you may leave an opening that could come back and get you.
And he's got it. Touchdown, Eagles. Saquon Barkley from 3 yards out. And the Eagles get an important score there to extend their lead here in this fourth quarter. CD, it seemed like they were so focused on the guys out wide, they forgot about him out of the backfield.
That's a really good point, because you've got to communicate, and oftentimes when you start counting receivers, that's exactly what you do. You start from the widest receiver, work your way inside. Who gets lost sometimes? The back in the backfield. That's exactly what happened there.
And he got into the end zone. Elliott good with a PAT. And that pushes the lead up to 11. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. Oh, what a move. And he'll be out of bounds across the 25.
First and 10 at their own 26-yard line.
They'll come up first and 10 here.
Here we go.
Here's Love. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And that will be incomplete. Would have been a big hitter if they had connected. Instead, it's second down.
That was one they needed to connect on. They're down, but not quite out. So you have to figure, with under 2 minutes to play, they need to hit on something in very short order.
He's going to let it fly. And that's going to be incomplete. Good effort there trying to take a shot, but it's third down. Right where this set of downs started, they need a full 10 here to pick up the first down and move the chains. And that is incomplete.
That means it's just one last chance left, and this has to be a first down or a touchdown, or this game's over.
Here we go. This is fourth down.
Ready, ready. 50, green. Ready?
Love. He's going to launch this deep for Watson. And this is intercepted, and that should do it. Down the sideline he goes. Well, it wasn't always pretty.
Los Angeles. Last stop in town before I hit the road. And it was hot. I said, man, point that fan at me. And I'll be good to go. Wasn't playing songs for long when came in candidly. But the prettiest young thing I ever saw. And she was hot. Well, nothing short of masterpiece.